Court TV Live, Curtis Reeves on the stand telling the jury what happened that day in the movie theater near Tampa, Florida. He has just told the jury that he went to complain to the manager that Chad Oulson had his cell phone out and he asked him to put it away and he used profanities. What happened next? According to Curtis Reeves, let's find out. Let's go back in right where we left off.
Talking to me, I don't know who he was talking to. He was talking again kind of loud. And he was saying something about the manager and the theater. I didn't pick up every word. I was standing up, and it was something about the theater and the manager, and he had been kind of staring in my direction, and I don't know. He wasn't talking to me, but he was speaking out loud.
He was staring at your directions as you were walking?
As I came back in, yes, sir. He kind of looked in my direction.
Okay. And was he accusing you of turning him into the manager?
I kind of interpreted it as that, but I didn't hear those exact words. It was, I think he was trying to relay that he was not happy.
Okay, and then what did you do at this point?
I tried to, I think the word is diffuse the situation, so I made a comment to him about if I had known that you had put your phone away, I wouldn't have involved the manager.
Okay. Now, Mr. Reeves, tell the ladies and gentlemen what happens at this very moment.
As I sit down, he's still talking loudly, and he's facing away from me. I can pick up a word every now and then, but I don't know what he's actually saying. And a movement caught me off on the right side of my eye, and I turned my head to look at him, and almost immediately he had turned and was on his feet, and I had something between me and the theater screen that I saw just a flash of a reflection off of, and then everything went kind of fuzzy.
Did you believe at that point that you had been hit?
Yes, sir, I did.
And where do you think that you were hit at that moment?
I think I was hit on my glasses on the top left side. That was where I felt the impact, I think. And I wasn't sure how it had happened because I didn't think he was that close to me. So it had to be something else.
That's what you thought?
Yes, sir.
This blur that you saw, were you able to describe it?
It was like a flash. It was between me and the screen. It was very close to me. I had it just didn't compute. I had no idea what it was at that time.
At that moment, did it appear that he was coming into your space?
At that point, I noticed that he was standing up. He was yelling a lot of profanities. There was threats and bits and pieces, because this guy is very volatile and active. He's trying to come over the seats.
Did you try initially to get up?
I was in a seated position, and when I first detected the profanity and stuff, he was trying to come over the seat. He was trying to. I felt like he was trying to either that or get to me, one or the other. It appeared to me I've never been in that kind of a position before, and I realized immediately, and I don't know whether he got onto his seat. I don't know what happened, but when he stood up, I'm sitting down in a completely defenseless position. I'm looking up at this guy, and he looked like a monster standing there. He was mad. He exhibited explosive behavior, both verbally and physically. And I had seen his wife, who had tried to control him when he jumped up, and she had a hold of his arm, and he had turned around. At that point, I was focused on him.
Why at that point were you just focused on him?
He was a threat. He was a threat that was very close to me. And the closer a threat is to you, the less time you have to react to anything that happens. I had tried to get further away from my wife because he was after me, and I had leaned as far as I could to my left, and I had kind of straightened my right leg out towards where my wife was sitting, and I didn't want to again hit his chair. He just appeared to me like he was out of control. That it was like his wife was kind of hanging onto his arm or his shoulder. She was in the peripheral. I saw him. He was reaching for me or trying to come over the seat again. It was at that point I couldn't get up. I was trapped. I couldn't go left or right, and even beyond being seated in front of this guy that's standing up in front of me, I'm leaning to the side, completely defenseless. I could do nothing to defend myself.
At some point, do you decide to pull your weapon?
At some point after he's reached, either trying to come over the seat or tried to hit me, at some point I made a decision that I had no alternative. The guy's, in my opinion, he's completely out of control. He's not settling down, and his wife is trying to hold him back, or appeared to be trying to hold him back, or control him. I guess that would be the right word. And I've never been encountered by somebody exhibiting that uncontrolled anger or rage, and all of the perceptors that you could imagine, whether it's verbal, physical, expression. At some point at that time, I had no other choice, and I reached for my pistol.
Now, after reaching from your pistol, do you see some hands coming in your direction?
I'm pretty much zeroed in on him, and I know I made some comments at some point in there as this was happening. It was very quick, in my mind, it was, the event itself was very fast. And I didn't think I had enough time to respond. And at that point, I was concerned that he was so much above me and so full of rage, I guess you could say, that he was going to strike me with all the strength that he had or he could put together. I figured that this was the end of the line for me. I thought that at the very least I'd be seriously injured, if not killed.
Curtis, did you feel at that point in time that you had the capabilities to ward him off with your bare hands?
I was pretty sure I couldn't do that. That was never a question. In the position that I was in, there's no way I could have done that.
You fired a shot from your pistol?
One shot.
What happens after you fire that shot?
As soon as he turns away, then he's no longer a threat. So I lay down the pistol, and then I try to determine how bad I'm hurt. And then I realized that my glasses, the reason that everything is blurry is because my glasses were kind of sideways. I'm going to call it askew. This left piece here was down on my cheek, and my glasses were kind of, I guess you could call it askew. That's when I realized that the reason everything was so blurry was because my glasses had been knocked off.
Well, were they knocked off or were they askew?
Askew.
Okay. Were those the glasses you were wearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. May I see them?
Yes, sir.
May I approach?
Give me.
It's okay if I look at them as well?
Yes.
Thank you.
Curtis, these are the glasses
All right,
that...
we're going to step aside, take a break. The jury's looking at his glasses. Curtis Reeves just explained what happened in his mind. Back with more testimony right after this. Stay with us.